Yo, it's Princess.
And Sanita.
Alright, so we're back again this week. Last week our video got mad love. We had a couple people reach out and say they wanted us to continue the dropping the videos and us being vulnerable and talk about things they can relate to. So here we are again. This week we're going to be discussing mental health and relationships. I'm pretty sure a lot of you can relate because, you know, this is a big thing and not a lot of people talk about it. So we want to tell our story and, you know, maybe you guys can connect.
First, we want to say thank you for all the love that we got from our last video. It was totally unexpected. All the love, the shares, the comments, the reaching out, and even the response from our family. Like, that was not planned. First of all, it was not planned. So it was just like, we were just as surprised as everybody else. And like, we were crying right along with you guys. So we just want to say thank you for that. It was very encouraging and very inspiring. But talking about mental health, as many of you don't know, only my family and my very close friends know that I deal badly with anxiety and depression. I am on meds for my anxiety, and you know, it's gotten better, but there are days where it's just like I feel like I backtrack 10 steps. You know, some days I wake up and I don't even want to get out of bed. I can't function. I can't really give her an answer as to why I'm feeling like this. It's just I wake up and I'm that way. And I feel like dealing with someone that struggles with mental health and you're in a relationship, if your foundation and your bond isn't solid, that can really draw a wedge between the relationship because, you know, some partners don't want to deal with that, don't want to feel like sometimes I feel like my anxiety and my episodes become a burden to her, and I never want to feel that way. So it can definitely draw a wedge between relationships.
I agree, but just to be clear, I never wanted to leave her. It didn't draw a wedge between us, but I did not understand it at first because when I grew up, I didn't grow up around those issues. When we had issues at home or whatever, you know, it was kind of like, you know, get up and keep it moving. Like, I never really seen my parents struggle with anything. Well, my mom and my grandma, my grandpa and my aunt, like, you know, they just kept it moving. Whatever they were dealing with, they just dealt with it. So I never had to deal with it firsthand. I didn't know that Sanita had mental health issues until we physically moved in with each other. And it wasn't right away. I found out probably about almost 2 or 3 years in when I realized that, you know, it was something deeper. But yeah, it definitely could take a toll on you if you don't know about it, or if you are not aware of the symptoms, or if you're not willing to understand. So yeah, it definitely can.
And like, you know, talking about it makes me like really, really like emotional because I didn't always deal with it. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't always deal with it. It was a time in my life where my grandmother had passed like a couple months before, and like maybe 2 or 3 months down the line, I was in a relationship and the relationship ended terribly. I got in a bad car accident, wrecked my car, literally totaled my car. I lost my job, and it was just like all that piling on top of each other really like put me like in a hole. And you know, people that struggle, I know there's people out there that say, you know, oh, you guys choose to be this way, or you know, your anxiety, you give it full control, but it's not like that. I don't think that people choose to be that way, or you know, their anxiety, they allow it to overcome them, because some people don't even know that they have anxiety issues until they start dealing with it, and then not knowing what it is until they go see a counselor or a therapist or whatever, and they diagnose them. But for me, I wasn't always like this. I mean, I had my moments, but it got worse around that time, and that was like maybe 7 years ago, when it got really bad. And at that point, like, you know, I was suicidal. My parents took me to the hospital and everything. Like, it was that bad. I did not want to live. I could not see like a light at the end of the tunnel. It was just all dark for me. So for me, I struggled and I was able to get myself out of that hole, but I still have days where I feel like I'm not happy with myself. Like, you know, I'm not the same size I used to be. I have gained a lot of weight So there's times where that just overtakes you. And I know I'm not the only one. I know other women deal with that. Where we have to deal with, you know, what we used to look like when we were 18, 19, like 20, even 21. We're in the best shape of our life. And we were like, oh, I'll never get this weight. I'll never do this, never do that. And then, you know, life comes and you have to deal with it. And it comes along with other baggage. So for me, that's when my anxiety really started getting worse. And for me now, I'm like trying to learn how to like maybe control it a little better, like stay on top of my meds. I hate to take my medication. I hate it. I hate it because I don't want to be dependent on medication. But I notice when I'm not on my medication, it is like, it's really bad. It's like a spiral. And I hate that. And I know I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure there's other people out there that don't like to take medication because I feel weak-minded. I feel like I cannot fight it on my own. So there's times where I'm like, all right, I haven't had an episode in such amount of weeks, so I don't think I need the medication anymore. And I don't think that's the case. And I don't think anybody should be ashamed of taking medication. I think that, you know, for one, you're strong enough to go get help. Like, you're strong enough to say, okay, I have an issue. My anxiety is taking control over me. I need help. I cannot function. Like, for me, when I got on my medication, I literally could not get through the day without like crying or like, you know, having a mental breakdown or feeling like I'm like useless. So for me, when I got on my medication, it helped me to slow down my thoughts and like help me to not focus so much on that. But I don't want anyone to feel ashamed if they do take medication. It is not a bad thing. It does help me, but for me, I just hate it. I hate that it helps me because I want to be able to fight it on my own.
Yeah, so she definitely does that. Yeah, I mean, it is an emotional topic for her. It's an emotional topic for me. We both deal with it, you know, and nobody knows, you know. It's been days. I can recall I came home one day and Sunita was home and she told me, she was like, you know, she doesn't want to be here. She wants to kill herself. And I instantly was like, what do I do with that information? Like, what do I do with that? So my first thing to her was, I told her, you're not alone. It's not just you anymore. It's us. And I get it. I'm not the person who's fighting the battle, but I am in the war with her. Yeah. I'm in the war with her because I see her when she's up. I see her when she's down. I see her when she's in a dark space. And the craziest thing is, we got married in February. Literally, we came back a week later and she was in the dark. This is the darkest I had ever seen her. Like, and it just all of a sudden happened. And I was just like, oh my God, you should be the happiest person in the world. We're married, whatever. And like, for me, I couldn't understand it. But I started to realize it's like, it's not really her. It kind of just happens. Anything triggers her. Like, I always ask her, like, when the whole, you know, Black Lives Matter thing started, she started getting anxiety. She told me, she said, babe, I'm starting to feel anxious. And I said, okay, what's triggering it? So she's like, you know, I keep seeing all this stuff on social media, boom, boom, boom. Cool. It's social media. So with her weight, every time she walks past a mirror, Sunita's looking in the mirror. So some days it triggers her. And I'll tell her, stop looking in the mirror. Stop overthinking. Yes, she gained weight, but she's sexy as shit to me. And I just feel like that's all should matter. And like, for me, I feel like you should love who you are regardless. And don't let that, you know, knock you down. And I love her for who she is, how she looks, and whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I get it. It's a mental battle, and I can't be that person to make her feel good. She has to feel good about herself. So when she's having those days, she wants me to come home, lay in the bed with her. That's what I do. We literally just lay there. She cries, I lay there with her. We talk about it, you know, and, you know, all I can do is just put prayers up and just pray that, you know, she gets through it and she's able to be okay. Now, do I ask her, you know, do you want to go to the hospital, or do you want to go to a mental hospital or whatever, you know, do you need some time? Because I don't want her to feel like if she does that, I'm going to leave her. I'm not going to leave her. When I said I do, I committed to all her flaws, her mental issues, her, you know, insecurities, whatever it is. I committed to that. So I am here for everything. And, you know, like the other day she asked me, literally, just out of the blue, she was having a date. And she was like, how would you feel if I wasn't here? And I'm like, why the fuck would you ask me that stupid ass question? Like, look at us. How cute are we? Like, but on the real note though, like, I couldn't live without her. Like, we complete each other. Like, when I'm getting off work, I look forward to seeing her. You know, I talk shit all day like I don't care, but I do. But for her to be okay, whatever it takes for her to be okay, I'm there. And if you're on that end of the relationship where you're dealing with somebody who's going through that, you just have to be there. You can't fix it. It's nothing you can do about it. And unfortunately, you know, some people deal with it and they can't come out of it as fast as you would like them to, but that just means that you're there. But you can't allow it to pull you down. You need to continue to do things to lift their spirits and let them know that, you know, it's a light at the end of the tunnel and it'll get better. Like, normally when she's going through it, I let her know, like, babe, it's gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, today I'm gonna let you have your little day, but tomorrow we gonna get up, we gonna go do something. Or, you know, you gonna get up, you gonna go to work, and we gonna be okay, you know?
And for, like, people that deal with it, like, 2 people told me this. My dad told me this first, and then I was on a Zoom meeting with my friend Nikia, and her mother-in-law said this, that we focus so much on what we dislike about ourselves that we just shut out all the great things that we have about ourselves. Like, our image is not only what's great about us. Like, we are great in so many other ways, and that really, like, stuck with me. So for me lately, I've just been trying to, like, you know, think about what else am I, like, what are my other pros about myself, and not focus so much on the cons. And it's just like, that helped. And I feel like that would help everyone. Think about, like, you know, yeah, I gained weight, but, you know, I'm still beautiful. I'm not ugly. I don't feel I'm not an ugly person, but, you know, I'm intelligent. I have a big heart. You know, I am a great wife. I feel I'm a great wife. You know, I love my family. I have a great family. There's so many other aspects about yourself that can overweigh all, you know, your anxiety issues, your depression, and your weight. Like, so I think that for me, what I try to do is focus, what I'm trying to do now, it's focus more on the good about myself instead of, you know, oh my God, I gained so much weight. Oh my God, I'm always dealing with my anxiety. You know, just try to retrain my thoughts. That's the way. Try to retrain my thoughts and stop trying to, like, self-harm myself with my words, and more so uplifting myself. So I think, and that's a struggle for me. I'm always self-harming myself with my words. Always. It's like second nature to me. And that's something hard to do. You know, it's hard to change your thoughts. But, you know, that's just something that I thought would help you guys out.
But another thing too, like, I always tell Sunita, man, everybody ain't meant to be skinny, bro. Like, everybody's not made to be the same size. And why does your weight determine your level of confidence, or how you feel about yourself? Like, love yourself. And bro, like, I know my wife be looking mean and she be looking like she'll go off on you, but literally this lady has the biggest heart ever. Like, people always ask me, what was the reason why you chose to marry Sunita? I had already decided that I was gonna marry her, but this is what really pushed it over for me. It was Christmas Eve. We were driving home from West Palm.
Literally the day you proposed.
The day I proposed. We were driving from West Palm. We were getting off on Hillsboro, and we were at the light. It was this homeless guy. The car in front of us was giving him money, but the guy took too long to pick up the money. And literally, Sunita started boo-hoo crying.
Because the guy, no, guys.
Listen. She boo-hoo crying. So I looked over and I'm like, are you fucking crying? And she was like, yeah, because I feel embarrassed for him. That let me know right there, this girl is a great person. Like, for me, that shit was like, you better get up, pick up that dollar. What is you doing?
My thing is, they threw the dollar at him. He's already humiliated for begging for money, and you can see it all over his face. He wasn't one of these homeless people that really ain't homeless. He was really homeless. So the people threw the dollar at him. And I'm like, oh my God, my heart instantly shattered for him. Like instantly.
And that at that moment, like I was like, yeah, I want to spend the rest of my life with her, because somebody who cares about somebody she has no idea, like she knows nothing about them, there's no way she couldn't care for somebody who she knows everything about. So that was my ultimate reason. She has a great heart, man, and I pray to God that, you know, her mental illness is healed and that she's able to control it and move on with life and be okay. And if you're going through the same thing, if you're on my end, bro, just be there. Just be there for your spouse, your sister, your brother, whatever. Don't leave them hanging, because that moment you leave them hanging
is the moment they'll give up.
That'll be the moment they give up, and you'll no longer have them. And then what will your regrets be, you know? So for me, that's it. I love my wife.
Oh my God, I love my wife. But we love you guys. Thank you for listening to our long video again. I really hope that this encourages somebody and reaches the right person to know, don't give up. Like, you will get better. You will be okay. And there are people there for you. You may not know me personally, but I'll talk to you.
100%.
Please.
Both of us. Our DMs
100%.
are open. Our DMs are open.
We love you guys. Thank you.
Bye.